What's up, everybody? This is Roman Gennaro, host of the Empire Sports Talk podcast. We are back for another segment of Power Rankings. This time, I'm ranking my top 5 MLB jerseys. And just to make a point here, I want to put a caveat. This does not include specialty jerseys like City Connect or Players Weekend or anything like that. These are just the regular rotation jerseys, including an honorable mention for these 6 teams. These are not City Connects. These are not like special ones you see once a year. These are just your regular rotation. The lone honorable mention on this list is the now soon to be Vegas Athletics Kelly Green. This is one of their alternates. They do have great uniforms in general. They're classic. They've been around forever. But the Kelly Green, they used to be more prominent in their color scheme back in the 70s and 80s. They wear it now as more of an alternate. It's bright, it's loud, it's slick. It's a better color, in my opinion, than their primary forest green. And when they bring these out with the yellow socks, it's hard to beat. So the honorable mention on this list is the alternate Kelly Green Athletics jersey. Number 5 on my list of top MLB jerseys is the Atlanta Braves Friday night red jerseys. The Braves wore the red jerseys for many years as an alternate during their days at Turner Field. And then when they moved to SunTrust, they kind of backed away from the red alternate and instead went with a navy alternate for a few years. And many fans asked for the return of the red uniform. We usually only saw it for a few years on the 4th of July when they had a Stars and Stripes theme, but it didn't come back in full force until a couple of years ago when they announced that the Braves would wear the reds on Friday nights at home, which they now do every single Friday night home game. Number 5 on this list. It's just vibrant. It's a vast difference from the rest of their uniforms, although there have been fellow Major League Baseball players, not even Braves players, but fellow MLB players who have mentioned that the Braves home whites just somehow seem whiter and brighter than other home uniforms. Whether or not that's true, that uniform's not on this list. What is on this list at number 5 is the Friday night red uniforms for the Atlanta Braves. Number 4 on my list of top 5 MLB jerseys. This one's a classic. It has never changed. It has never needed to change. The Yankee pinstripes. Regardless of how you feel about the New York Yankees, it is the most classic look. It is the cleanest look. I think it has been famous over several years that the Yankees have not included names on their jerseys. And look, I think in this case, I think last names would only tarnish these uniforms. The pinstripe that started it all, the pinstripe that's better than all other pinstripes, the classic New York Yankees pinstripe at number 4. I don't think there's any little kid in their backyard dreaming of being a Major League Baseball player that hasn't at least thought about or dreamed of wearing the New York Yankees pinstripes. I know I did. Number 3 on this list is another alternate uniform that was around for a while and then went away, and fans asked for it to come back, and it did, and it's a great decision. Number 3 on my favorite uniforms list is the New York Mets alternate black uniforms. This was a uniform combination that was kind of synonymous with Mike Piazza in the early 2000s versions of the New York Mets. When I think about these jerseys, I think about Mike Piazza. They went away for a while. They came back a couple of years ago, and they look just as good as ever. I think this is the Mets' best uniform. It wouldn't make sense to wear it all the time because black isn't one of their main colors, but it's great nonetheless. Number 3 on this list, the Mets' alternate black uniforms. Number 2 on this list is another classic, another home uniform that I've always loved the logo. I've always loved the uniforms for how simple and clean it is. The San Francisco Giants home whites, or I should say they're more of a like an off-white, a cream color that and it helps differentiate them from other teams. And it's just the white uniform, the big block black lettering and numbering. It's so good. The black hats. It's just a classic look. It works on every level. I think about the early 2000s. I think about those Giants teams when I was young, before I knew what steroids were. I loved the Giants. And I rooted for them in 2002 against the Angels to win the World Series with Barry Bonds. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I grew up knowing that entire roster. And those uniforms hold a special place in my heart still today. Number one on my list, and this may be controversial, it may be boring to some, but anybody that's listened to this podcast for a long time or heard me talk about sports and uniforms for a long time knows I'm a sucker for a classic, for a clean look, nothing too fancy. I'm not someone that buys into the Oregon Ducks uniforms and all the fancy stuff. I'm not someone that buys into the shine and the sparkle and no. So for me, my number one uniform, and there were a lot of uniforms that did not make this list that could have. The Chicago Cubs home uniforms, the off-white alternates for the St. Louis Cardinals. There are so many that could have made this list. But number one on my list, because of the clean contrasts, because of how good it looks, because of how far above the rest of this team's uniforms it is the Chicago White Sox alternate black uniforms with the white lettering and numbering. It's just clean. It's just, when you see a classic black and white logo, black and white uniform, there's something about it. It's just clean. This is an instance, because of their gothic logo, that their homes have the pinstripes, and I think that gets a little crowded. So the black uniforms have no pinstripes. It's just black uniform, white numbering, white lettering, block numbering, which I'm very much a stickler for. I love it. Number one on my list for uniforms is the Chicago White Sox black alternate. That closes out our list of uniforms. Leave a note in the comments. What are your top 5 favorite MLB uniforms? How would you rank the ones that I have ranked? And what do you think about the list? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out our full podcast episodes of Empire Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Roman Gennaro. See you then.